In modern times, a calendar has become a gift that people like to give and to get. It is handy. It can convey information or give you beautiful pictures to look at and think about at the same time that it tells the date. A calendar had no place in traditional life long ago. Or rather, the world itself was the calendar in those days. For the Lushootseed Language Summer Camp, the Tulalip Tribe's Cultural Resources Department developed a calendar to represent the seasons and the times within the seasons. We wanted our calendar not only to be useful in modern life, but to bring us back toward the ancestral way of paying attention to the world instead of a piece of paper. For the people of the Puget Sound region long ago, an awareness of seasons and the passage of time came in response to what was happening in the world. The calendar, if we want to use that word, long ago was an interactive, responsive relation to plants, animals, sea, and stars. Each year, if we want to use that term, was unique and would have been described in its own terms, not by standard units of time measurement. For each season or period of time, descriptions of it could be made by reference to what plant foods were flowering, fruiting, or going home, or to whether the tides were building toward or diminishing from the huge ebbs and flows that came in summer and winter, or to what kind of salmon were running, or to distinctive features of weather, or to what activities the animals were carrying out in their cycle of reproduction, or to the phases of the moon and the position of the stars. Hunters would describe the time of year in their way. Plant foot gatherers would talk about it in their way. Upriver people and saltwater people would talk about the same period of time in terms that differed, because the tempo of nature was different at different altitudes. Thus, there could be several different names for times of year that are today called only one thing, such as May or fall. We find that many of the Lushootseed terms apply to at least 2 months or are shared by a month and a season, and the times of the year in which many things are going on, such as April-May with roots, shoots, flowering and fruiting, bird migration, and salmon runs, have as many as 5 names. The Lushootseed sense of the beginning of a new seasonal round might well have been in the spring, when the planks were taken off the longhouses and people began to move from place to place as foods became available. Certainly, nothing began for the people when most modern calendars begin, in what is now called January. The winter season simply continued. This season, when it begins to get warm, is called O-Heat Hudub. The season when it begins to get warm. O-Heat Hudub. The next season is Pud Hudub, the hot season. Pud Hudub. Next is Pudulad, the salmon return season. Pudulad. And finally, Pud Tuss, the cold season. Pud Tuss. There are periods of time within the seasons. Within O-He Hudub, the season when it begins to get warm, there is Popo Hagwood, the windy time. Popo Hagwood. Next is Wok Wok Oos, frog voice, time when the frogs start singing. Wok Wok Oos. Then there is Sleehiboos, crane voice, the time when you can hear their calls as they pass through on their migration. Sleehiboos. Then Pudcha'ub, the root digging time. Pudcha'ub. The last time within this season is Pudstagwad, the salmonberry time. Pudstagwad. Our next season is Pud Hudub, the hot season, and the periods of time within that season are Pudstagwad, the salmonberry time. Pudstagwad. Then we have Pudgwudbuh, the time of the ground-dwelling berries. Pudgwudbuh. Next is Pud'aka, the salalberry time. Pud'aka. And finally, Pudquahuit, the silver salmon time. Pudquahuit. Under the season Pudulad, the salmon return season, we have Pudquahuit, the silver salmon time. Pudquahuit. Next is Pudhuitil, the time of falling leaves. Pudhuitil. Then Pudquite, the dog salmon time, also used for autumn. Pud white. Our last season is Pud us, the cold season. Pud us. Within this season we have Pud white, the dog salmon time. Pud white. Then Pud sheets o watts, the time when the paddles are put away. Pud sheets o watts. Next is lakes, stick together. This may refer to a time of cold when a person's sides stick together because there is no food. Or another explanation is that in freezing weather, if your hands are damp, they will stick to anything you touch. Lakes. Our last time within this season is Popo Hagwood, the windy time again. Popo Hagwood. Now we've come full circle back into Ohit Hudub, the season when it begins to get warm. This completes our Lushootseed calendar. We hope it is useful to you. Thank you.
Dear